won't believe how terrible some of these SUVs are for 2025. We've done all the research, so you don't have to waste your time or money. Today, we're breaking down the 15 absolute worst SUVs you should avoid at all costs this year. And trust me, number 3 will shock you. It's a beloved model that completely dropped the ball. Stick around till the end, because the number 1 worst SUV on our list is an absolute nightmare that could cost you thousands in repairs. Let's dive in with these automotive disasters. Number 15, Buick Envision. Starting off our list is an SUV that looks way better than it performs. The Buick Envision might catch your eye with those sleek lines and panoramic roof, but don't be fooled by the attractive packaging. Under that beautiful sheet metal lurks an electrical system that seems designed by someone who thinks reliability is optional. Owners report infotainment systems that randomly reboot during navigation, climate controls that think winter means 85 degrees, and a transmission that shifts with all the smoothness of a teenager learning to drive stick. All this can be yours for the low price of just $45,000, plus your dignity when you're stranded at Walmart. What makes this even worse is that for similar money, you could get something that actually works as intended, like the Mazda CX-5 or the Toyota RAV4, which both offer dramatically better reliability ratings. Number 14, Jeep Grand Cherokee L. The commercials show it conquering mountains and fording rivers. But what they don't show is how it conquers your bank account every 15,000 miles. This so-called adventure vehicle has a cooling system that apparently hates adventures. With radiator issues so common, you'd think coolant leaks were an optional feature. The cherry on top is that fancy off-road differential they brag about in the commercials. Costs roughly the same as a semester of college to replace when, not if, it fails. I've seen paper boats with better water resistance than this thing's electronics. For $50,000, you deserve much better than a vehicle that leaves you stranded in the middle of nowhere. Consumer Reports gave this model a reliability rating of just 34 out of 100, placing it firmly in the avoid at all costs category. Number 13, Lincoln Nautilus. For a vehicle with luxury literally hiding in its name, the Lincoln Nautilus delivers about as much actual luxury as a plastic lawn chair. Sure, the interior looks impressive in showroom lighting, but those fancy touch-sensitive controls become completely unusable after 3 months when they start phantom touching themselves, like a ghost is changing your radio station. Is that turbocharged engine that sounds so impressive on paper, requires premium fuel, gets worse mileage than a 90s pickup truck, and has a timing chain issue that's basically a $4,000 time bomb. But hey, at least the badge looks expensive when you're waiting for roadside assistance. The Nautilus costs around $55,000 to start, yet owner satisfaction surveys show it ranking below even budget brands costing half as much. Number 12, Ford Explorer. The plus apparently stands for plus a whole lot of problems. This 3-row family hauler comes with a transmission that has more indecision than a teenager picking a college major. Owners report shuddering, hard shifts, and complete failures before hitting 60,000 miles, just in time for the warranty to expire. But wait, there's more. The panoramic sunroof has a special feature where it occasionally decides to leak directly onto the electrical components. Seriously, who designs these things? A competitor trying to sabotage them. For $55,000, you deserve better than an SUV that doubles as a very expensive indoor water feature. If you need 3 rows, you'd be much better off with the Kia Telluride or Hyundai Palisade, both of which offer better reliability at a lower price point. Number 11, Chevrolet Traverse Premier. The word Premier suggests top-tier quality, but the only thing premier about the Chevrolet Traverse is how quickly it introduces you to your local service department. The direct injection engine has carbon buildup issues that require cleaning services so regularly, you should probably just add it to your monthly budget alongside your mortgage. And don't get me started on the infotainment system that's slower than dial-up internet from 1998. By the time it boots up and connects to your phone, you've probably already reached your destination. Oh, and those fancy power folding seats. Better have a backup plan for when they inevitably decide to stop folding altogether. Starting at $48,000. This Premier is more like an economy experience with a luxury price tag. Hey, If you're still with me, make sure you're subscribed because clearly you care about not throwing your money into an automotive black hole. Drop a comment below. If you've had experience with any of these rolling disasters, your horror story might save someone else from making the same mistake. Number 10. Nissan Pathfinder. The Nissan Pathfinder costs as much as a small studio apartment, but has the build quality of a shed kit from a big box store. The entire dashboard is apparently constructed from materials specifically engineered to create new rattles and squeaks with every mile you drive. The real tragedy is its engine, an all-new innovative design that somehow manages to burn oil faster than my ex burns through relationships. Owners report adding a quart every 1,000 miles as normal, according to the manufacturer. There's nothing normal about an engine that drinks oil like it's going out of style. Save your $60,000 and just buy a used vehicle that actually, works. The 5-year depreciation on these is absolutely brutal, losing almost 70% of value, which tells you everything you need to know about long-term quality. Number 9. Toyota Highlander Hybrid. The Toyota Highlander Hybrid markets itself as refined efficiency, which is ironic since it's about as efficient as heating your house by burning cash. The hybrid system promises amazing fuel economy, but delivers numbers that would make a V8 from 2010 look economical. How do they manage to make a hybrid get 19 miles per gallon? It's genuinely impressive in the worst possible way, but the real party trick is the air suspension system that costs roughly the GDP of a small nation to repair when it inevitably fails. And it will fail, usually right after the warranty period when you're least expecting it. One day you're riding in comfort, the next your $65,000 luxury SUV is dragging its underbody across speed bumps like a beached whale. For that kind of money, you could get a Lexus RX hybrid that will likely still be running perfectly when your kids graduate college. Number 8. Chevrolet Equinox, the Sport. In this model's name is hilarious because there's nothing sporty about a vehicle that hesitates more than a student during a pop quiz. The turbo lag is so bad you could order and receive a pizza delivery in the time it takes to merge onto a highway. What really earns this beauty a spot on our list is the cooling system that apparently was designed for Alaska but sold everywhere. Overheating issues are so common that owners joke about measuring trips in radiator refills rather than miles. And at $48,000 starting price, the only thing getting exercise is your credit card when you're paying for repairs. J.D. Power ranks this model well below average in their initial quality study, with more problems reported in the first 90 days than almost any competitor. Number 7. Volkswagen Atlas. The Volkswagen Atlas should be renamed the Volkswagen Disconnect, because that's what happens to virtually every electronic system in this rolling disaster. The entirely touch-based control system is so buggy and unresponsive that you'll be nostalgic for physical buttons within the first week of ownership. But the real tragedy is the advanced driver assistance system that seemingly has a vendetta against lane markings and occasionally mistakes bushes for semi-trucks, causing panic stops on the highway. Nothing says premium driving experience quite like giving your passengers whiplash, because your $58,000 SUV thinks a shadow is a concrete wall. Good luck finding a modern car that will do that. Oh wait, please do find alternatives. Forums for this model are basically support groups for people trying to cope with their purchasing decisions. Number 6. Honda Pilot Ultimate. The ultimate in its name must refer to the ultimate disappointment you'll feel after signing those financing papers. This 3-row family hauler comes equipped with a CVT transmission that has the durability of a chocolate teapot. Mechanics literally have boat payments that depend entirely on fixing these transmissions. And while we're discussing failures, let's talk about that fancy electronic shifter that occasionally decides to interpret park as roll away down a hill without warning. For just $52,000, you too can experience the thrill of wondering if your vehicle will still be where you parked it. Seriously, who builds cars this unreliable anymore? Apparently these guys do. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has investigated this model 3 separate times for various safety concerns, which should tell you everything you need to know. Number 5. Infiniti QX80. We're into our top 5 now. The absolute worst offenders in the SUV world. The Infiniti QX80 combines luxury pricing with bargain bin quality in spectacular fashion. It costs $70,000, but has interior materials that would feel cheap in a $20,000 economy car. The genuine leather seats start cracking faster than eggs at a breakfast buffet. And the wood trim is so obviously fake, it might as well be printed on paper. But the real reason it makes our list is the air conditioning system that works perfectly until the outside temperature exceeds 85 degrees. You know, exactly when you actually need air conditioning. The repair involves removing the entire dashboard, which costs roughly what you paid for your first car. It's like they engineered it specifically to fail in the most expensive way possible. Owner satisfaction ratings for this model are among the lowest in its class, with many saying they'd never purchase from this brand again. Number 4. Cadillac Escalade. Our number 4 contestant takes the concept of depreciation to spectacular new lows. The Cadillac Escalade depreciates so quickly that driving it off the lot is basically like setting fire to $20,000. Within 2 years, this $100,000 luxury SUV is worth about the same as a used mid-range sedan with twice the mileage. Why such terrible resale value? Maybe it's the engine that develops an uncurable thirst for coolant around 40,000 miles. Or perhaps it's the electrical gremlins that cause the entire infotainment system to occasionally reboot itself while driving. Either way, buying this vehicle new is financially equivalent to throwing money into a paper shredder while setting your credit score on fire. Even leasing companies have started increasing their rates on this model because they know how little it'll be worth when returned. Number 3. Jeep Commander. As we approach our top 3, prepare yourself for a vehicle so problematic that mechanics literally groan when they see it pull into their shop. The Jeep Commander commands a premium price tag of $62,000, but delivers discount bin reliability. The 8-speed transmission can't seem to decide how many gears it actually wants to use, occasionally skipping several entirely or getting stuck in one until you restart the vehicle. The real crown jewel of awful engineering is the fully electronic suspension system that costs $3,500 per corner to repair when it fails. Notice, I said when, not if. Owner forums are filled with people who've spent more fixing their suspension than they did on their first house down payment. The only thing getting elevated here is your blood pressure when you get the repair bill. This model has been subject to 7 recalls in just 18 months, a record even for this troubled manufacturer. Number 2. Nissan Armada. Our runner-up at number 2 is so notorious that some dealerships won't even accept them as trade-ins anymore. The Nissan Armada should have been named the frequent excursion to the dealership instead. This off-road focused SUV has a transfer case that apparently considers itself disposable, failing with such regularity that owners joke about buying them in bulk. The crowning achievement of awful engineering has to be the fuel system that can't seem to accurately report how much gas is actually in the tank, leaving owners stranded despite the gauge showing a quarter tank remaining. Nothing says adventure ready quite like getting stranded in the middle of nowhere because your $59,000 vehicle can't perform the basic function of measuring liquid in a tank, something humans figured out roughly 5,000 years ago. The average owner reports their first significant repair coming at just 22,000 miles, far earlier than any competitor in its class. Number 1. Land Rover Discovery. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the absolute worst SUV you could possibly waste your money on in 2025, the Land Rover Discovery. The Discovery lives up to its name. It's extremely unreliable, extremely expensive to fix, and extremely good at making you regret your life choices. This $85,000 luxury off-roader combines the worst aspects of every vehicle on this list into one spectacular monument to bad engineering. Let's start with the engine that somehow manages to leak both oil and coolant simultaneously, often into each other. The electrical system appears to have been designed by someone whose prior experience was limited to Christmas tree lights. When one thing fails, everything fails. But what truly earns this disaster, the number 1 spot, is the proprietary diagnostic system that means only dealerships can fix it at rates that make healthcare costs look reasonable. Owners report regular annual maintenance costs exceeding $3,000, with major repairs often hitting 5 figures. I've seen actual boats with better reliability ratings and lower maintenance costs. The Land Rover Discovery isn't just a bad car, it's an engineering case study in how not to build an SUV. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this. No amount of luxury features or off-road capability is worth the financial nightmare this vehicle will inevitably become. Consumer advocacy groups have petitioned for investigations into this model's reliability issues. Yet sales continue thanks to marketing that should win awards for creative fiction. There you have it. The definitive list of automotive money pits, disguised as SUVs for 2025, like the video and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. If I've saved just one person from making a $50,000 plus mistake, then my work here is done.